I woke a few minutes before my alarm. Oh, it's maybe a new record for me and my internal clock adjusting. Shouldn't it just be your internal clock adjusting? I don't know. Stretching in place, I felt multiple joints pop satisfyingly. This new mattress is great. Why was? Why are we using a past tense? Did you break it? Needing to get myself dressed, I pulled myself from my bed and hit the closet. Take that, you dirty closet! I hate you! Subtle, but different selection in my shirts and pants from yesterday's shoes. I like how this man owns multiple sets of shoes. I mean, to be fair, he's a little fashionista. Gonna give him a little cheek pinch. And finishing out with my in-season jacket. I opened the door to my room and found the cool early morning light filling the apartment. Does your room just not have windows? Once again, my parents had already made themselves scarce, and a quick check of the cabinets confirmed food was similarly scarce. I checked the freezer, found an assortment of frozen foods. None of them stood out among the others, so I grabbed a box of frozen burritos and popped one into the microwave to cook as I idled my morning away on browsing the net. Breakfast for dinner, followed by breakfast for breakfast. I made a mental note to treat myself to something nice and not breakfast-related for lunch, to break the pattern that was already forming. Finishing off the food tube and tossing the plate into the sink, I grabbed my backpack and headed out the door. But, you know, you do know that the reason that his food is like hot dog shit, it's like, oh no, I don't, it's bad microwave food. It's supposed to indicate that his parents are neglectful of him. It's supposed to be like a hint that maybe Inko would do better if he made up his own mind and did something he wanted instead of following. Don't follow the instructions on the breakfast burrito, Inko. You're led down a path of dependence. That's when you take your metaphors a little too far. Your analysis. You can say death of the author, but sometimes a chair is just a chair, and I don't know, man. Maybe stop thinking about chairs so much. Okay, I grabbed my backpack and headed out the door. So, you might notice that we don't have all that many needed details here, right? Who cares what he's dressed in? Really, all you needed was that he got himself a breakfast burrito and he was online. If anything, you should have elaborated on the online part, since that's such a large, part of the man's character is that he's raised by the internet. And we don't go in on that. Which, by the way, I know that to a lot of people that's a harder thing to imagine, but, like, you could write a version of Inko, if you don't like the one that is in Wani, of, like, a guy who was raised by the internet. In, like, Anon's way, but different, you know, the modern internet, not on 4chan. Nobody his fucking ace is gonna fight, I mean, they probably would, actually. They're still pretty visible. I can imagine some kid going there thinking it's the coolest shit ever, and being the biggest loser everyone there just dunks on. Ugh, it's the hazing, as they call it. I made good time again and got to school fairly early. I'd almost forgotten why I wanted to get here a little early today, but it popped back into my head upon seeing the Volcano's High entryway again. So the reason I'm saying that, like, was kind of doubtful, unfortunately, is like, are they on the TikTok and stuff? Because, like, kids now these days are on social media, and 4chan isn't that kind of social media, you know? They're not the influencer sphere that a lot are like, All I'm saying is that its methodologies might be a little outdated for the cocaine addicts of the future. You know, listen, man, I get it, man. But I'm looking for cocaine, not a drink of booze. I needed to talk to Nasa. You deserve to know what happened at the concert yesterday. To cross the entryway threshold to begin my climb up the stairs. Again, the school doesn't have this. Listen, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, okay? But the way that Volcano High is presented in the game, pretty consistently, it does not have an entryway. Why would you give it one? It's not even a special, super private school. Why would it need an entryway? I just want to know why you insist on this. Like, please open up stairs.webp and note the complete lack of entryways. You can just cross the fucking street. Also, a thing I just noticed is the background is sparse. I thought this was in the middle of town, but no, it's like in the middle of nowhere. Oh, Elvin's there. Why did they put Elvin in there? Oh, that's all the background character everyone always fucking memes on. Or whether it's added later, I don't even know. I think it's kind of interesting they put Elvin in here. Of all characters to include. And I think some of these are also like background characters that were in the main game. They feel like it, at least. They feel like people I've seen before. Whatever. But not the point. But yeah, like Volcano High never has an entryway, and I think it's such a weird thing to include. My man, did you grow up in another country where that is the case? Anyway, let's see. As I crossed the entry, I began my climb up the stairs. I remembered seeing Fang yesterday morning. I had no idea that she-they. Listen, man, I know that messing up your pronouns is bad, but calling them a she-male isn't going to help you either. They and their friends would start the day having a spirited conversation, and it ended in tragedy. What? Okay, listen, you need to rewrite this, because I know what you're trying to say here. I know at the time that they... Jesus Christ. I think this would work a lot better if this was just an ellipses, and you made this lowercase to accommodate, and it would just be like a thought that starts, because he's like, at the time, she, and then goes for they, and then he goes on with they and their days. Because this connects, right? This section is supposed to connect to this. I know it at the time that they and their friends would start the day having a spirited conversation and end with tragedy. This period is killing the sentence in a way that I've never seen before. What a surgical strike. Rude or not, I didn't think anyone deserved that kind of treatment. Given their apparent habit of not talking to NASA, he probably wasn't even aware of what had happened. Which seemed even worse for the guy, since all he wanted to do was help. The problem was, I had no idea where I would even find NASA. The only option would be to sort of walk around the main halls and hope I see him. Otherwise, I'd have to wait until lunch. Which would be fine, but it felt important to tell him sooner rather than later, for some reason. My luck turned, after a fashion, when my ears clued into some very angry yelling down one of the halls. It piqued my interest, and when I turned to look, I could make out NASA's crest above the crowd. B-I-N-G-O, and Bingo was his name, O. I wormed my way over. Unfortunately, as I drew closer to NASA's position, the yelling got louder. You said you invited all those assholes! I squeezed past an especially round ankylosaur before breaking into a micro-clearing. Oh man, listen man, if we're gonna start talking about micro-macro fetish, I don't know if this is the time and space. I don't know what these micros are doing in your class. The size only works as a visual gag. The students were making as they were given a berth around the argument. Sure enough, why is everyone in swinging distance? Why would it be a micro-clearing? Why would they actually clear some fucking space? They're tall people. They could swing their arms wide. They got tails and shit. Come on, clear. Sure enough, NASA was currently engaged in some kind of argument with an incredibly angry and short... Wait a minute. Tricera? If Trish was male, would it be a Tricero? Was the bassist from yesterday? Wait, Trish, you don't understand. NASA said, his arms raised, trying to placate the purple. She's not purple! We found out yesterday she's blue! That's my attack! She's blue now! Don't cut me off, you gray piece of shit. Technically, I'm black. Like a lighter black, but I'm not gray. Holy crap, this girl was angry. Holy crap. Come on, please say holy cannoli. Let Inko say holy cannoli! If anyone is calling an MB a she-male, quick way to find us out. It's a quick way to find out how strong your nose is! See? I mean, I guess that would make sense. She got the embarrassment of a lifetime yesterday in front of half of the school. Even so, NASA hadn't meant for it to happen. Where's the song I'm thinking of right now? What's this? What's this folder? Get this folder out of here. I don't want that. I'm thinking of a specific introspective theme. I think it's down here somewhere. Well, not this, obviously. Yeah, this is the one. Anyway. Even so, NASA hadn't meant for that to happen. Maybe there was still a chance for him to talk her down. To my dismay, as soon as that thought finished, Trish lowered her head and... Why is she between... What? He said her name. It's probably Trish. Lowered her head and charged NASA, horns out front, with the intent to... No, it's the intent to impale you bingus! People just don't get it nowadays. Why? Who was texting me? Oh, it's just some... I got a kudos? Oh, it's an old shit. I hate it. Where were we? Trish loaded. Okay. Luckily, NASA smoothly planted his palm directly on her foot and locked her in place, arresting her attack. I'm seeing the verb arresting too much for how actually rare it should be to use. Unluckily, that seemed to make her angrier. Get your hands off of me! Nasser lets out a sigh and pinches the bridge of his beak with his free hand. Trish, I'm not gonna fight you again. Principal's already gotten onto me about the lockers that got damaged last time. Trish added some ineffectual arm flailing at Nasser's own. Is Nasser flailing his arms? Is she flailing at his arm? As she kept pushing forward into his stone-cold palm, her sneaker squeaked onto the polished floor. Man, Nasser really was strong. No, he is strong. Why do you keep using past tense? Is he dead? It feels really weird because we're in this man's head, right? Listen, I understand that like you can use past tense when you're reflecting on things because technically Inko can only describe things that have already happened. But Nasser isn't dead. So he is strong. Nasser, in this moment, in this time, has demonstrated and is currently actively strong. Stop using past tense where it doesn't make sense. Also, please just say Nasser's really strong. Come on. Give me that contraction. Believe me, Trish, I had no idea the concert would turn out like that. Liar! I just wanted to make sure you guys had an actual audience. What are you implying? You know what I meant. Come on. Should I step in? What could I even say? Unfortunately, because Anon never had a choice, I couldn't do anything either. I mean, shouldn't Inko try to interject himself? I mean, I just realized that Inko never has to deal with other people's bullshit in Wani. I think Inko would have done something here, right? Like, yeah, between Olivia and everyone else, but never like a tertiary party. Huh. They clearly knew each other, and I barely even knew Nasa, let alone Trish. Anything I try probably just add fuel to the fire. Trish pushed her head forcefully away from Nasa's palm and smacked at his hand. High five! Oh, screw you! Even if you weren't trying to mess with Fang, screw you! She yelled in one last defiant outburst. She wheeled around? She in a wheelchair now? To stomp down the hall. Oh, she got Heelys! Our eyes locked. I reflexively threw my hands up in a... Jesus Christ, every fucking person I see does this shit. Stop it! Just have him back off and throw his hands up. Why do we always have to describe that it's a defensive gesture or posture? I don't know. I just see this way too much, and it's just annoying me. I see it all over the place. And some people overuse it too. And took a step to the side to give her room in the now mostly empty hallway. She doesn't need more room, man. She's not that big. The hell are you looking at, skinny? She snipped. So weak for how angry she probably is. Before stomping away down the hallway and out of sight. Even if I didn't think she would attack me at that moment, I could feel my heart pounding. She was intense. Wow. Inko would barge in. Wait a minute, this is bullying! And he just immediately starts grappling Nasser. Even if I didn't know she would attack me as well as that moment, I feel my heart pounding. She was intense. Wow. Hey, Inko, Nasser said, finally noticing me. He let out a long sigh as I let my hand back down and cleared the short distance between us. So, what about, you know? Oh, don't worry about it. It was nothing. His expression had returned to normal. You know, just girl issues, right? Haha. God, when I see that haha, I immediately think of a Yatakan in Wanu Gemu. And like how the AI reads it, it's like, haha! We both stood there for a few seconds in silence. Neither of us was convinced by that terrible excuse. She was the bassist, right? Well, one of them, I guess. Obviously didn't go well, but I couldn't get any details from her. She just started yelling about how I'd ruined the whole thing. Hey, you didn't mean to! That still means I ruined it, though, he countered. I clicked my mouth shut. Click, click. Wait. You know, clicking it shut. Why does everyone click their fucking mouth shuts around here? Why can't you just shut your mouth? It's always clicking. I didn't really have a retort to that. Well-meaning or not, Nas inviting all those people definitely make the whole thing take a really bad turn. Before we could talk any further, the early bell rang, filling the hallway. They'll have to wait. You gonna join us for lunch again? I couldn't help but smile! Oh wait, is smiling gonna get overused this time? 27 times! We have just become the Smile Saga. Definitely. Nasa waved me goodbye and we took off to different classes. Oh, as I walked, I sifted through my thoughts before settling on one definite fact. For Nasa. Jesus, okay, listen. listen, I'm okay with the idea that Inko isn't that big, but like, why the fuck is he so difficult with the pronouns? He met Fang like once. Like, I get that they're somewhat clumsier terms, but if Inko is at all in the 2020s, this is way more natural to him than this makes it out to be. Like, for Anon, it makes sense because he's an asshole, but Inko is trying his damnedest. Come on, man, this isn't that fucking hard. If anything, him being better at this would it would create new frictions in his relationship with Fang, because Fang kind of likes Anon for being like, oh, you're not like that. Whatever. I just feel like you're overdoing something that doesn't help the story. And ended up blowing up in everyone's faces. And now he was getting attacked and yelled at in the hallway. Just wasn't fair. He didn't do anything wrong to deserve it. Also, a bigger problem is this really creates clumsy writing. It makes your writing stumble constantly. And if it's not that important, don't do it. As I traversed the hall to English class, I passed by a familiar pink raptor. They want to have the science... Why? If we're doing the fucking science part, I'm going to give him one more you just carbon copied shit before I lose my mind. The science scene I'm fine with. It's kind of a moment for Fang to cool the fuck down, and I'm fine with it from that perspective, but come on! I'm not here to read fucking Snoot game! I'll play Snoot game if I want to play Snoot game. It just wasn't fair. Okay. Just I traversed to English class. Well, it's like how you have this 2 mornings in a row. 2 mornings in a row, man! I passed by a familiar pink raptor. He gave me a passing easy smile and shot me double finger guns as he went by. In contrast to how poorly Trish had reacted, the drummer didn't seem particularly phased at all. Did he just not care, or did he get over the stuff pretty quickly? At least someone from last night didn't seem completely miserable. Unfortunately, there was still some misery to behold yet in the morning. As I cut through the central hall, I spotted 2 more familiar individuals. Trish. I was talking to Naomi outside the principal's. Man, Trish is busy this morning, huh? Look, Trish, I'm very sorry, but we've told you several times by now that due to your friend's record, we can't allow you to sell merch. Wait, I'm sorry, Trish, but I told you several times by now that due to your friend's record, we can't allow you to sell merchandise on school grounds. 7 times in a row, in fact. 6th. This time is the 6th. Naomi's usually chipper. You've met her one day! Was fading into an overt annoyance fast. Well, go ahead and fill out a form if you really want to try again, she said, folding her arms and staring down at the angled purple dress. She's blue. I still can't believe she's blue and Fang is green. The last time I did, I saw you throw it in the trash without even looking at it. It was completely illegible, Trish. You should work on your handwriting a bit. Wow. You really expect the happy and upbeat Naomi to be blunt like that? What the fuck are you talking about? Inko is not this perceptive. Inko is kind of nice about things. I imagine he would blunt it, right? He would see it. He would probably think it, but he wouldn't think it. You know, he would try to Christian, he's a little protagonist boy. He's very gentle. He's a little lapdog. He's being way too skeptical right out of the gate. And it's certainly not what I would have said to Trish, given her outburst and attack. Like, sure, if the Inko I know, right, would be like, wow, that's kind of mean, but, you know, Naomi and Trish know each other longer than I have. It probably makes sense in context. I don't have time for this. I need to track someone down. What? Again? Again with the fucking wheelies. She got the heelys, man. She got the heelys. Trish wheeled around and kicked the base of the wall with a dull thud, allowing her heelys to send her reeling down the hall. You okay? I asked Naomi when the coast was clear. I heard her sigh before she turned around to face me. Her normal smile was back on her face. Oh, hello, Inko. Oh, hello, Inko. Sorry you had to see that. She was upset because of what happened yesterday. Shall we head to class? We're almost out of time before the late bell. Yeah, that sounds good. English went as well as yesterday, complete with my inability to understand my teacher. I bid Naomi farewell and moved towards my next class. I was about halfway there when my commute was interrupted by a now familiar voice, screaming like a crazy battle cry. Jesus, Trish is having the most busy morning! Whoa! I whipped my head around to see Trish, full of fire and fury. Through the fire and flames! Tackled a raptor. Heelys are an objectively superior form. Yeah, Trish is on the good route, I guess. Everyone stopped in place at the commotion. Anyway, they're having their fun little fight. I don't know what to think about this. This is something that happened a lot. See, that's Inko, right? Is Inko doesn't even realize this stuff, even though it's super obvious to the reader that yeah, that's what that means in context, Inko. That's what the author is trying to communicate. Again, I don't think this scene is particularly good. It just all this scene does is further antagonize Trish and establish. But we already established that she's aggressive and violent because she went after Nasser. So like, why does this scene exist other than to make Trish look like a villain? This is to villainize Trish, and I guess the actual point is that Anon doesn't mention the whole attending the concert thing, but I imagine Anon would have done that regardless. Like, he already would have known things were bad, and you could have just have this communicated through like an offhand comment. Also, she's seen you twice this morning, man. In front of his no. For scrutinizing me telling the truth. And I was tardy, no! Why wouldn't he say late? Why does everyone always use the fucking word tardy? Like, I get it, right? That's... But normal people say they're late! Great. I booked the rest of the way to class and got a disappointed look from the teacher. But thankfully he didn't mark me down. Beyond that, class went by in a flash. I had a bit more time to think about how things were shaking out so far this morning. Nasser was predictably upset, and so was Trish. I hadn't seen Fang all day so far, but the raptor drummer seemed to be handling it the best out of the trio. I resolved myself that when lunch came around, I would definitely tell Nasser what happened. But also I wanted to figure out a way to make him feel better. The poor guy deserved it. The rest of my classes flew by quickly until we arrived at lunch. Breakfast burritos I had eaten, unfortunately, had been slowly but surely making their return onto my stomach, which had continued to gurgle unpleasantly all morning. I know I wanted to treat myself to something nice earlier in the morning, but now that lunch was here, I found myself wanting something simple and easy. Holy shit, this is some bad writing. Like, again, I get it, but you're basically repeating the same sentence fragments in the same sentence. There's not even a period in between them. Yeah, but if we're going with tardy and we're going with retarded, that doesn't work for Inko doubly so. He would never say that word. That's not Inko. If anything, Inko would be like me and be like, can I say tardy? Can I legally say tardy without invoking the R word in the process? I could see that making sense. But no. And it's so weird. Again, it's why I don't think people who like Snoot games should write Inko. Because they all fundamentally don't understand who Inko is. They just don't care. All they care about is that he gets the kid Olivia. Big smooch. Where were we? I plated up some of the simpler foods before doing a full-on scan of the cafeteria. Both Naomi and Nasser were at a table. And also just in case Nasser was somehow both are... What? Oh, he's scanning both to see if they're at it. Jesus Christ. The writing in this is... Honestly, I would honestly say amateurish. It feels wrong. A lot of this just uses very odd constructions. Why don't you just say... Just to see... Like... Just say a full scan of the cafeteria for Naomi and Nasser. And then hint at like, oh, I don't want to... I don't know. It feels so clumsy. How hard is it to write a golden retriever? I don't fucking know. But apparently it's impossible for these people. Like, they're incapable of being snarky little assholes. And I'm like, if you can write a snarky asshole, just fucking make Anon, okay? Write an asshole. Don't pretend you know what Inko is. I like how I just called Inko a what. That's terrible. Inko would be so disappointed in me. He'd point at me and go, oh, Safi, you can't do that. Safi, you can't just call him a what. What in the goddamn? Anyway, I just got some... Listen, all you need to know is that I'm on the case. Let's move on. Luckily, I spotted my friends towards the far side, and I quickly made my way to them. Unlike yesterday when Naomi had been waving over to us, Nasser had found me. Both were fairly preoccupied at the table already. Hey, you two, how's it going? I asked as I laid down my tray. Why wouldn't you set it down? People set down their trays. They don't lay them out. Nasser let out a groan, and Naomi rubbed his back in an attempt to reassure him. Her eyes lock onto my tray filled with inoffensive, more bland food. No steak today? Well, breakfast isn't sitting well with me. Yeah, meat's a terrible idea. So I'm setting on something simple, something simple, something simple, something nice. You know what? We're just going to put something into something omatic, and yeah, that's not great. That's not great. That's really not great. She nodded. I mean, it could work, right? But it can't work if you're already fucking it up, is the problem. This can work. It can be a cute little, like, oh. But instead, you did this already. Like, you already made the mistake. So all I can think about is you're making the mistake twice. She nodded and then grabbed her thermos and poured the liquid within into the cap that doubled as a cup. Yes, that's how most fucking thermoses work nowadays. Jesus. You're talking about it like it's an innovation of the generation. It's it's like this part. You get rid of that. Just pour it into the cap. Most people this day and age know what you're talking about. Here, tea can help settle your stomach. Why one's stomach? I like how she's saying it in doctor speech. Like, oh, in case it's not true, I said one stomach, not your stomach. Offering the cap cup with a smile. Smile? Smile! We got 27 smiles. How many smiles in are we? This is the fourth smile. I missed a smile somewhere. Anyway, let's go on. The girl was so nice. I'm happy Nasa's got someone like her backing him up. Literally, she's slapping him on the back. I graciously accepted the tea and downed it. Take it easy, man. It was beginning to become lukewarm, yet the flavor was simple yet satisfying. Well, you were looking for something simple today, right? It let out a small, contented sigh. Can't have a big one. Can't just exhale with happiness. Can't have a blissful breath of air. It's got to be a small, contented sigh. Let's be small. Let's be humble with our emotions. It's like I'm watching a movie and everyone's faces are frozen. It's like, is your face tired, writer? Is your face tired from emoting too much? Ugh. I emote a lot. I know that I fucking chew the scenery when I act. You can't see it, but I assure you, I'm moving. But, come on! Like, if you're gonna emote, don't undersell it. It's the thing about writing, right? I'm allowed to fill in a lot of the gaps, and if you're gonna do an emotion, either make it obvious that it's small for a reason, or make it big and fucking blow my socks off with like, man, that's a long time coming. Thanks, Naomi. She smiled in her usual way before turning her attention back to Nasser. My Nasser sweetie's been having a rough morning as well, she said with a frown. I thought she was smiling, and then she turns her attention and immediately loses it. Oof. I think you can get this across without this, though. Especially since anyone who reads this already knows Naomi knows that she has that plastic grin on her face the whole day. Yeah, I caught a bit of his argument with that Trish girl. Why would you... What? Why would he say that Trish girl? Wouldn't Inko just say with Trish? Because he knows it's Trish? Because he heard someone call her Trish? Guess it's not a surprise that she'd be upset given what happened yesterday. I commented as I So this man has a mouthful of smashed potatoes as he talks? Great. I commented as I shoveled a spoonful of mashed potatoes into my mouth. Why as? Oh, hey, Inko, Nasa said as he looked up, finally recognizing that I was even present to begin with. So, what did happen yesterday? I mean, it couldn't have been that bad, right? No one's giving him green tea that will turn his behind into the next. Niagara Falls in an hour. No, Niagara Falls. Oh, I didn't know Naomi was into that. She's trying to make him vegan, and no better way to do that than to destroy all the bacteria in his guts that can process meat. His laugh was hollow. He obviously knew things that probably went that bad, but I had to be honest. Why did I get... He obviously knew things that went that bad, but I had to be honest with the guy. It was pretty bad. They started playing and maybe got halfway through the first song, I think. Then someone started laughing and insulting them. Then everyone else joined in. The band stopped playing and ran off stage. Naomi gasped slightly. Wana's worried expression warped into a frown. Everyone's frowning. Fangs stinked home today. The concert was a shit show and they said they wanted to avoid everyone. She said as he said as he placed his face in his hands. I know I shouldn't have invited all those guys. Yeah, it sucks. Listen, I know you meant well, but they were pretty cool. What do you mean I know you meant well, but did Nasser know? This implies that Nasser knew who he was inviting, which... You should say, but despite that, they were pretty cool. You know, something like that. This implies that you're blaming Nasser for this. Nasser's fingers spread slightly so that he could look at me through them. Listen, Nasser, I have object permanence. I do not lose peekaboo. And he closes his fingers again. I'm like, Nasser, where'd you go? Nasser? Nasser! And he just sticks his hand on the table. It's like, Naomi, where'd you go? My object permanence, it's gone! What did she say? Trish gave me a basic idea, but I grimaced remembering it all. Well, it started with one guy saying they still sucked. His frown intensified into a sneer. Can we stop describing how this man's emotions are progressing? Can we describe something more meaningful? Like, his teeth are gritting, his face scrunches together, his fist clenches tightly. Can we get some... And not fucking white knuckles! Stop it with the fucking white knuckles for once! Just clench your fist, goddamn! He lifted his head and stared directly at me. That's better. That's something. Jesus. What else? That couldn't have been it. What else did they say about Fang? No one would have found a fair. I don't want to repeat it. It was pretty terrible stuff, NASA. I said, deflating. A shit show, huh? What? Who said shit show? That's a weird thing to call back to, like several, like a dozen lines later. Shit show, huh? Fang had been right about that. I guess it's because he remembered this. Kind of a weird order of operations. You can clean that structure up. Nasser brought his fist down onto the table. When did he ever lift it? Making Atreus loudly jump. Like, if he clenches his fist, I can kind of go along with it, but he didn't describe that. Oh, he has his face in his hands. And he just slams the table? What? Startling both myself and... It really feels like you should have done something differently and kind of lived up the scene. Kind of imagine the scene. Imagine these characters acting like they're chewing the scenery and take the best parts of it. Right? Like, make it big, make it grand, and then pluck the best, punchiest, sexiest details right out. That way, you're not over-describing it, you only got the high notes. Perfect. And you can focus on the thing that matters, which is the characters. Not the events, but the emotions that surround them. You're not writing an action flick, so the action isn't that important. Now, as about to fist down the table, making Atreus loudly jump. I imagine the fist is louder, startling both myself and Naomi, and drawing a few looks from other nearby students. Shockwave like a Marvel movie with a 360 slow motion. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Like, just take a moment in your scene, imagine what everyone's doing, and then write that shit down. And what happened after that? I'm gonna kick all their asses! I never got this line at all. I think this is like how the line is in the game, and I never got it, because it's so weird. So this man asks what happens next, and immediately shifts to I'm gonna kick their asses. Despite the fact that this sentence implies that he wants the full details before he's gonna beat him up. I don't know, maybe it's a structure I'm not familiar with, but it always read a little weird to me, even in the original. Naomi was quick to place her hands over his fist to try and calm him. Don't do that, Naomi. His fist of fury will boil you alive. Nasser, please calm yourself. They kind of kept laughing, so I left. Principal Spear was really pissed when he let me pass. Don't you mean when he let you piss? Shit, he knows about what I did. I didn't hear how it went after I left, but I'm pretty sure I heard something about suplexes. I tried to recall some of Spears' angry yells, but it really couldn't get much. Naomi reflexively flinched. Unlike the flinches we do very much intentionally. Again, reflexive flinching is kind of assumed. Flinching is, you know, an involuntary action. Here we go. Make a quick, nervous movement as an instinctive reaction to fear or surprise. AKA reflexively. Wait, were the suplexes literal? Nasa let out a long sigh as he deflated. Honestly, sentences like this kind of undermine the tension of the scene, right? If you just write Naomi flinch, you could be like, was he flinching about Principal Spears? Or at the scene? Or like, it leaves a little more to the imagination in a fun way. Nasa learned a lot about the art of kicking your ass from the master of it. If you want to put your foot up someone's ass, I know a guy named Red who can help you with that. If you want to kick the ass, that's a whole different guy. Whole different school. Nasa let out a long sigh as he deflated, collapsing onto the lunch table. Fuck, that's why she stayed home. Hey! We do not misgender. Honestly, listen, if we're gonna write Inko, right? If we're gonna write Inko, we're gonna write this cute Labrador boy, pat-pats for him and all. Wouldn't it be great if he was correcting everyone's pronouns? Wouldn't it be great if he was the guy to tell Nasa, Nasa, you're getting it wrong. And that makes him look exactly like the fucking arrogant little Redditor he kind of based. Like, it would work so great. But because the people who write this are fucking losers who don't know what Inko is, they don't. They don't take the opportunity that's right in their faces. And that makes me mad. Now we went back to trying to give him some sort of semblance of comfort, leaning over and wrapping an arm around his shoulders. If Fang wishes to stay home, that's her prerogative. You just need to give her some time now, sir. Naomi was looking pretty upset too, and I felt terrible for both of them. I know, babe. I just wish I could help them more. And now we gotta write, help, huh? Well, maybe Hey, it isn't much, but maybe there may have been one eye point to the whole thing. NASA's look shifted from tired to confused but accusatory. What could have possibly been good from yesterday, Inko? I pulled out my camera from my backpack, not from Nasser's backpack. Don't get that one mixed up. And opened the picture I'd snapped of the band before they began to play. After confirming it was the picture I wanted, I turned it so the couple could see. Right before they started playing, they had posed up, and I thought they looked, pretty cool. Maybe it's just the lighting doing all the work, but look. Now it's a scrutinize. Why do people scrutinizing shit? Why can't they just look or scan or appreciate or absorb? Fucking mix it up. Before the barest bit of smile pulled at his beak. Yeah, it do look pretty good. Why is it always a fucking smile? Come on, man. Let's pull up the thesaurus. Let's pull up a smile. Why can't the corner of his mouth go up? Why can't there be a tug at his lips? Why can't he suddenly beam? It's like I don't know, man. It feels so lame. It's like all these people can do is copy paste from the source material. That's what it comes across like. You're not writing. You're just Inko should be the nerd emoji with the finger pointed up. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Ugh.